Good morning everyone, how are you doing? I hope you're doing good because it is good to feel good. You join me on a very nice sunny morning this morning in Tirana, and today we have got our first big adventure of the trip. So what we're doing today is we are driving an hour out of Tirana and we're going to Lake Bovilla and Gamti Mountain, and we're going to do a nice big hike. Go on a hike, so to say. And yeah, just I like, well, my surname's Walker, as you guys know, and I always say the phrase walker by name, walker by nature. And I thought, yeah, let's enjoy this little hike, this little escapade today. Let's get cracking with the knacking. Okay, we've just made a little stop on the way up to Lake Bovilla. We've got this really nice canyon here, so the river's flowing. There is a little, hang on a sec, I'll just show it from over here. There is a little makeshift bridge over there, which, I don't know if you can probably tell, it doesn't look secure, so it's not worth taking the risk to cross over. So yeah, we're gonna stay on this side of the bridge basically. Okay, we've made it to Lake Bovilla. It looks very nice and lakey. I don't know what I'm saying, nice and lakey, just roll with it. But what's interesting is that it's not actually a natural lake, it's a reservoir that was built during communist times, and the dam is, you can't see it here, but it's just over there. Anyway, we're gonna make a start and go on a nice big old hike. So just for a bit of context, we're not climbing the entire mountain, but you see where there's an Albanian flag up there? There's a viewpoint right up there. That's where we're hiking up to. So I love how there's like, it's just the whoa, shit. Oh, that was too close there, just nearly tripped. Anyway, I like that there's a nice contrast between like the rocks here and then onto actual stairs. Okay, we have made it to the top of the viewpoint. There's an element over there where I'm like, yeah, probably not, but look at the views from up here, and also you can see some of the mountains with snow on top of them as well. Looks lovely. Oh. I might be feeling rough, but we made it up. That's what matters. Alright, so there's a little extra viewpoint there where you see that Albanian flag flying, and I'm just like, yeah, best not. It's kind of like one of those you do at your own peril. But I was just saying, like, you know, on the way up here, especially with like, you know, the lack of like railings and stuff in places, it's kind of like health and safety is just basically out the window. And I mean, even that platform there, it's just like, yeah, I would go there, but I'm like, nah, you're good. Okay, so we've enjoyed a nice climb up there and then a little just chill time by this restaurant over here, and now what we're going to do is we're going to take a casual stroll back down the mountain, and then that's going to take us back to Tirana. I think our guide, Ollie, I think his name is, he said that there's two ways. We can either go back the way we came, or like just take a little winding stroll down. So I think I'm going to go with the latter, so I think this is going to be alright in comparison to climbing up. So this is where I record like me walking and showing off my feet here, and then all of a sudden I slip, and I can tell you now, like, there have been enough times on my travels where that has happened. Okay, we've just made it back into Tirana. Normally on camera I would shout out and, like, you know, include the guide who's, you know, took us around for today. I didn't get a chance to do it this time around just because we were very quick to get off the bus and then go our separate ways. But I do want to shout out to Ollie, who It's been an awesome guide for this trip. And if you find yourself doing like a day trip to Lake Bovilla, then you know you've got any ledge to look forward to on that regard. And he also, I can't remember what he said, but he also does a lot of other stuff in and around Albania, so that's pretty cool. But also he was telling us a lot about the history of this country and quite a few things that I found out yesterday as well. So it's nice to get a bit of everything. You know, he's taking you around places and he's telling you about the country's history. All good stuff. Okay, just made it back to the hostel, and just like last night, no one's here except me. I think that's probably a first time for me ever staying in a hostel, because like I would normally have like a whole bunch of people staying in the same room, but so far no one's staying here. Anyway, that's besides the point. I've just made it back. It is actually a lovely day, but I tell you what I am gonna, it's too bright. I tell you what I am gonna do though, is I am gonna treat myself to a little siesta. Might just go off kip for a few hours and then head out probably somewhere around 6 o'clock maybe. And then what I'd like to do, there is a really nice lake that's not too far from here, and I'd quite like to get a good vantage point there before sunset. So I think we'll make that our plan. Okay, so I have just freshened up, I've had a nice siesta, and I'm now heading on to my next destination. So as you guys may or may not know, I love a good sunset when I'm on my travels. It's just after 6 o'clock, so it means the sun will be setting shortly in just less than an hour's time. I'm gonna go find a good vantage point, and I'm gonna go to Lake Tirana to go and watch the sunset, and just have a lovely time there. Okay, so I've just sat down. It's a very lovely sunny evening, and of course in turn there's a very lovely sunset to look forward to, so that'll start to go down shortly. And yeah, just, you know, just sit back, relax, just take in the positive vibes and just have a good chill time. That's what we like. And just like that, the sun is gone. But I've just noticed as well, there's a nice big fountain in the middle of the lake as well. God, you're big ducks, aren't you? Gosh, you're big. And just like that, I am back in my hostel, and again, no one's here, so I can, it's like I'm speaking to myself. Well, that's what I do when I do these vlogs. I'm basically speaking to a camera, so in turn I'm speaking to myself. I've got myself to keep myself company, that's how we see it. Anyway, it's been a really lovely day. This hike up Gamti Mountain to that viewpoint, and also just seeing over Lake Bovilla was really lovely. Again, shout out to Ollie, who was our guide for the day, and also again telling us about quite a fair bit of history to Albania. It's been lovely today. I will quickly acknowledge that I am sounding very hoarse. I don't know what it is. I had a cold last week. I'm on the better end of that, but then I think I've got something lingering on my chest or something, so I'm just trying to power on through and not wear myself out. Although saying that, when I get back home in a few days' time, at the very least I can, you know, recuperate for a few days before I go back to work. So that's a good shout. Anyway, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sleep shortly, get a good night's rest, and then tomorrow we have got a very fun day ahead. So tomorrow I'm going to the city of Durrës, which is just west of Tirana. It's on the coast as well, so it's on the Adriatic Sea, and I brought my swim gear with me, so if we get a chance to go for some swimming, I think we're definitely going to go enjoy that. But I'm interested to see what's about in Durrës as well, like what history there is to the city, and just all sorts of exploration. Let's look forward to that. So on that note, I'm going to sign off here, and I'm going to leave you with some advice, and that is always to enjoy yourself, stay safe, and make the most of every opportunity that comes your way. Thank you for watching, and peace.